Welcome again, once again, to MTD's Daily Show. Today, as always, we're going to be joined by a guest via Skype from our studios here in Northamptonshire. Today, it's Martyn Page from Hydrafeed. Martyn, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. Are you well?
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Yes, we are. We're under the circumstances. We're doing all we can. Yeah.
Good. Well, the last time I saw you was just getting off the Eurostar, wasn't it? When we came back from Robo Job in Belgium. I mean, I'm sure it's a pretty quiet train now.
Yes, I would imagine it was. That seems a lifetime ago, doesn't it, Paul? The world was a different place then. But yeah. Hey ho, we're here. We're doing what we can, and.
Good. Well, what we're trying to establish from these programmes, Martyn, is just to get a feel for UK industry. You're, a very big player in the supply of your Hydrafeed equipment, amongst other products now, which I'm sure we'll touch on. But how are you finding things around the country at the moment with your bar feed sales or sales in general?
Yeah, we are inextricably linked to the machine tool companies, so I'm not going to. I'll be as candid as I can. It's very quiet at the moment. We are still seeing quick orders come through from our OEM customers, where possibly machine tool companies are supplying equipment into manufacturers that are doing critical equipment for the medical industry or associated industries to support the NHS. We've had 2 or 3 quick orders for bar feeds and a couple of the Rotoracts. So we're doing all we can. We're running here on a skeletal staff. The subcontract side of the business is doing exactly the same. We're trying to be fair to staff. Most of the staff have been furloughed, but we do propose to try and 3 week off and 3 week back on. The build manager is still here building bar feeds. It's all hands to the pumps. He's delivering the bar feeds for us. We've got 1 installation engineer, but it's a difficult balance to strike, in as much that we have to ensure that the wage bill doesn't get too high, and we're still able to support our OEM customers especially, and the direct sales. So it's difficult at the moment, and it comes to the simple things that we all took for granted. If we send an engineer to Newcastle to do an installation, he's not going to be able to eat. He's not going to be able to find somewhere to stay. So it those things that a few weeks ago were just done, book the travel in, we can't do now. However, I must say that I'm surrounded by some brilliant staff, and they are doing all they can, and everybody here is understanding the predicament we're all in, and we're all pulling in the same direction, which gives me certainty that we will come through it without a doubt.
I was talking to a couple of engineers last week, and they were saying that this kind of British bulldog spirit was really apparent, and industry does certainly seem to be coming together. One of the points I wanted to bring out at this interview is automation. We have many conversations about automation, and a bar feed is automation, but equally is your Rotorac and your Robo Job products and the new bar feeds that you supply now. But I was interested in what your opinion was on. It seems to be these ones with automation seem to be the ones that we're still seeing on the social media channels that are still busy. The machines are still cutting metal. There's a bit of a pattern there. It's almost like, if they had staff and they've had to go home for the reasons we're talking about, those spindles can keep going. I mean, this can't be more of an apparent reason to invest in automation, can it?
You're quite right, Paul. It speaks volumes, doesn't it? We're doing the same here. My production engineer downstairs, he's running the turning centre, the milling centre with a robot, and we're running 2 other single spindle machines in the machining centre department to keep our subcontract. So I've got 2 people running 5 and 6 machines. We finish of an evening, the robot still runs. It's quite right. It's a difficult. It's a paradox, isn't it? Because now is the time to invest. Companies know that, but they're frightened to invest because cash is king at the moment, isn't it? Everybody wants to keep the cash in their business, and we completely understand that. However, if there's companies out there that are brave enough, now is the time to invest, because certainly when we come out of this virus predicament that the world is in, as we come out at the other end of that, those companies that have been brave enough to invest will be in the forefront to be competitive and get the UK PLC back where it needs to be.
And how do you think the landscape will look in manufacturing in a few months' time? Do you think there'll be many changes, Martyn?
Oh dear, that's a really big question, Paul. I think the changes will be if those companies that have got their neck out, as it were, and are stretching their cash as it is, and maybe they're living off credit and such. I think we are undoubtedly going to see some casualties en route. What we're trying to do here is try and be one step in front of government legislation and say, okay, we need to keep our wage bill down. We need to be in front of whatever is chasing us down the road. It's companies, hopefully like our own, that will come through it. Those companies that don't have that opportunity, I think, will fall by the wayside. However, there will undoubtedly be a positive side to it, where I'm certain the UK will, once we're able to, establish ourselves in a more automated fashion, and some of those perhaps old traditional methods will be forgotten about, and we will prepare ourselves for whatever storm may come in the future. I'm sure it will be a benefit in the long run for us all.
Yeah, I'm sure it will, Martyn.
It's difficult to see that at the moment.
Events will be an interesting one as well, won't it? Whether, I mean, you were going to MAC this year, which has been postponed. I'm sure you'll be going in 2021. There'll be a series of open houses coming up towards the end of the year. I think these will be a good measures of how industry gets back to normal, won't it?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're quite right. We bump into one another regularly at these open houses, and we would all hope that the traditional autumn open houses are back up and running. But clearly, the effects of this virus are going to be with us for a couple of years. I don't mean this social distancing, but we're talking about MAC 2021. Well, the next MAC was 2022. What impact will that have on companies such as our own? I mean, we budget for the 2 years to get the money together to go, but we've got another one in thereabouts a year. There's inevitably going to be having impacts on these open houses. Hopefully, we'll all be in a celebratory mood and we'll all go and it will be wonderful, and our industry will be rejoicing again.
We may even be able to have a beer again like we did when we were in Belgium.
We might be able to have a beer, a single beer this time, Mr. Jones.
and what I want to do, finally touch on, Martyn, before we end, is how are things with RoboJob? I mean, we went with the guys from Hydrafeed, Martyn and Ashley, last year. It was a great facility. Sales going well. I mean, we've spoken to High Spec recently and other companies that have got them. Yes.
At the moment, Paul, touchwood, we still have best part of a dozen robots on our books that, yes, for one reason or another, the installation has been postponed, but not cancelled. And that's the critical thing. And this perhaps relates to our conversation a moment ago. Those companies are innovative enough to know that if we can afford it, then let's do it, because when we come out of it, we will come out of it stronger. And again, it's that Churchillian attitude. You know, we need to pull together. If we do this, we will be strong. So yes, we've still got orders on the books. We are still doing our best to install. We have a couple of installs to finish this week. RoboJob have closed down, albeit the same way that everybody else does. We're still in contact with them, but clearly their supply of parts has been affected. But we're still giving them orders. But the lead time is a little bit longer. But they're still there. The top automationi are in the same predicament. Their extension and the lockdown on their factory has been extended by a couple of weeks. And we have, in truth, Paul, I have 4 bar feeds in Italy, 4 full-length magazine bar feeds ready to come over. We managed to install 2, but the other 4 have got stuck in Italy. Right. So when they're ready, May, if the lockdown stops, it looks as though May will be a great month for UK manufacturing. Well, we've got to keep our heads up and keep optimistic.
I want to finish on that point because it's a good way to finish, Martyn. I'm sure you're going to head off and go and have a Belgian beer this evening. I may join you.
I might even have an Italian wine instead, though, Paul.
Thank you very much for joining us today, Martyn.
You're welcome,
There you have it. Martyn Page from Hydrafeed, automation professionals, undoubtedly. Long bar feeds, short bar feeds, and of course their RoboJob product, which we just spoke about. Don't forget to join us again tomorrow, where we'll be interviewing another guest from industry.